and welcome to VOC. GYVOCY. It's not very often I get that wrong. Welcome to GYVOCY live. It is episode 9, and my name is Glyn Watson, and this is
Trevor Casey. And good afternoon. Good afternoon, Glyn.
Afternoon.
So, what's the big news today then?
So big news.
Yeah. Anything exciting?
It was my niece's birthday. 2 years old today.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, my nephew's birthday.
That's
Sorry.
right. 2 errors in less than 2 minutes. What a great start to the show today.
Well, it's only going to get worse. No. So, happy birthday to Thomas Glyn. He is 2 today. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Okay.
Don't want to start confusing the genders now, do we?
No, definitely not.
No. So, welcome to the show again. In today's show, we have drinks for the first time in a while because, guess what? It's absolutely boiling, isn't it? Have you been struggling with the hot weather this week, Trev? I know I have.
It's a bit clammy.
It's a lovely word. Clammy.
Clammy.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. Sticky. Close.
That's the word.
But haven't I slept through the 2 thunderstorms. I managed to sleep through them in the lightning storms. Did you manage to wake up to see them, or were you just so shattered by the end of the day?
There was one on Monday night, which, that kept me awake. Apparently there was one last night as well, which I had no recollection of.
No. Well, I have no recollection of either of them. I was out like a light as soon as my head hit the pillow. But I've seen a lot of the posts on Facebook of the lightning streaks across the sky, especially in Llandudno or across atop the Great Orme, which is in Llandudno, I know. But also GYVOCY, not Gwyncy Gower. What? That's how some people pronounce
really?
GYVOCY.
I've never heard that one.
GYVOCY, Gwyncy Gower.
Alright. It's somebody else. It must have been one of my wife's relatives who wanted to know what this place called Itsy Bitsy was. There's
Itsy
one.
Bitsy?
Yeah, Itsy Bitsy. There's one for you. It was hospital. And what's hospital?
A sputty.
Yeah.
A sputty. Itsy Bitsy. That's amazing.
Anyway.
Oh, yes. Let's leave it there, shall we?
Needless to say, it is very warm.
It is very warm.
And yeah, it looks like it might rain outside.
We've had to actually open the fire escape just to get some breeze in.
So if you hear the seagulls...
Yeah. They're not in the room, they're just above us on the roof. Quite literally. Tapping away. I hope they don't come in. That would be fun.
Not.
Right, so as part of the show, we will have... a rooted question, which are these pack of cards here, and then it'll be a shorter show today, I think, and we're going to focus on Trevor. He's going to
be about me.
He's going to be the centre of attention for the show, because he's going to be sharing with us his story at long last. Exactly. I know you've all been looking forward to this one.
I'm the centre of attention.
Oh right, okay. So yeah, he's going to be sharing his story, why he is the way he is today. I know that sounds...
Oh, that's scary.
But life's a journey, isn't it, Trevor? And basically, we want to hear what journey and what has got you to this point and why you do what you do now. I think would be a good place to start.
Sounds good.
And then we'll have a challenge. Is that fair?
It's not going to be those dubby, chocolatey, whatever they were.
Milk duds. Yeah. No, you'll be thankful to hear that they're in the bin.
I mean, they work. If you have 1, maybe 2, very nice, very tasty. Other sweet treats are available. However, when you try and answer questions and consume 15 or 20 of them all at once, it wasn't good, was it?
It wasn't easy, and guess what? I had to do it too. Remember?
I know.
I have that experience too.
Yes.
So I can, I get exactly what he's saying. So we don't actually advise you to do that at home without someone there with you.
No, just don't do it.
Well, don't do it, but
Our advice
yes,
is do not try this at home. However, if you did...
if you did, make sure that there is someone there to supervise and ask you questions.
Yes. So, something else not to do at home. My friend, so a few weeks ago, we talked about Britain's Got Talent, and we had a guest, Alan Finnegan, on the show. So don't try this at home. When Alan Finnegan was up a ladder and realised that he was going to fall. Managed to jump off the ladder, but then landed on his feet and hurt his ankles quite badly. Ooh. So, don't do DIY jobs or mess around stuff if you are in the house on your own. Make sure that somebody knows that you're larking around or knows to check up on you every once in a while.
Especially if your mum tells you not to do something unless someone else is in the house to help you. I remember... there were a few rules. One, I couldn't use the hedge trimmers.
Yeah.
The second one was I could not go into the attic on my own.
I think that's reasonable. And did you do
both
of
those things?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm a guy. Two, I like power tools. So I'd like to, I like to help doing the garden stuff with the big machinery and stuff. But I was about 12, 13 at this point. I wasn't like a 3-year-old going... But the attic, it didn't have one of those lower down ones, so you actually had to have an external step ladder, and you had to literally hoist yourself up into the attic, so it wasn't particularly safe. The getting in was actually the safest part. It's getting back down again, because you have to meet that distance and land on the ladder head. So, but anyway, my mum's probably going to kill me for saying that, and she watches this later, or she might be watching it now.
Who knows?
But anyway, don't do things like don't do any of those things, because I got a whooping.
Come on. Question? Yes? No? Whose turn is it?
Well, I don't know. Tell you what, you cut the deck, and then we'll take we'll take a half each, and then it saves passing it back and forth.
All right.
Oh, I was just going to take half.
Oh,
you take
half the deck.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Okay, so who's going to go first?
You.
Okay. This one is yours. Oh. You ready for this one? Do you ever...
Go on.
Do you ever feel lonely?
Yes.
Okay. That wasn't too painful, was it?
What do they say in an interview? Don't ask closed questions. However...
Oh yeah, it should have been like, have you ever felt lonely? Well, no, that's a closed question.
Can you tell me about a time?
Yeah, can you tell me a time when you felt lonely? Yeah, that is yeah. Okay.
But I think loneliness is a big thing.
Yes.
People think, oh, well, Glenn and I work together, we live with our respective families, so we've usually got people round about us. But yeah, loneliness can be quite a big thing, particularly in our modern world where, in theory, there are people at a touch of a button away, whether that's Facebook, WhatsApp, all of those kind of electronic things. And yet, with all of that, people still feel sense of loneliness, sense of isolation sometimes.
And I think when we look at social media as well, there's a lot of people, or there's the desire for likes, shares, pokes. If you're on Facebook, I know it's an old thing, but you can still poke people on Facebook, or comments and stuff like that, where people, and friends and gaining friends and all that sort of thing, and acquaintances, is that you could have all these people that are friends with you on Facebook, and you could have, let's say, over 1,000 friends, but really, how many of them do you communicate with? And you can still feel incredibly lonely when you have connection like that over Facebook. And a lot of people, or a lot of young people, fall into the trap of trying to find their self-worth on social media a lot by posting daily selfies, and with wanting to be kind of, and I'll just be brutally honest, and in some senses just wanting attention because it's all based from that loneliness. But human contact, we can't actually touch each other now, but actually face to face and tactile sort of stuff is really important to a person's well-being, and lockdown has had a major effect on the social fabric of and the psychological fabric of community right now. So
so here's an idea. It's not something that you can do for yourself, so if you're feeling lonely, then but what you can do is pick the phone up. So instead of doing a WhatsApp or a text message and send to all, just make a phone call and actually speak to somebody. It will be good for them, and it'll probably be good for you as well. And as lockdown eases, go meet somebody in the local coffee shop or whatever, or sat outside, or grab a takeout coffee. Talk to people. It is much better means of communication than messages online, etc. Anyway, enough of that. So I think we've done this one. Anyway, I'll ask it anyway, and you can tell me, what do you enjoy doing that helps you rest and relax?
No, I haven't. We haven't done that one.
Haven't we? Okay.
No.
So here we go, Glyn.
Here we go.
What do you enjoy doing that helps you rest and relax?
What I tend to do is try and find a quiet place and listen to some slow music.
Slow music?
Slow music, yes. Because if you want to relax, what you want to try and do is calm yourself.
Oh, right, okay.
So actually finding
Led Zeppelin.
Not Led Zeppelin, no dance music, nothing with like 120 beats per minute, it's like that just gets you all riled up again. Right. It's really good when you're in the car late at night and you're driving and it keeps you awake, supposedly. It's never worked for me.
Coffee.
I just never I just try not to. I just pull over in a safe place, obviously.
So Four Seasons by Vivaldi, something like that.
No, it's more sort of mood music. If I could play some music for you, I'd give you an example. Like it's not star
Beluga
music.
whales echoing through this.
No, it's if you were to go like on Apple Music or any other form of streaming music, streaming
are available.
Yes. And type in like relaxing piano or relaxing jazz or anything like that, then you will come across the kind of music. It's not all cheesy sort of beluga whales going like Finding Nemo. Anyway,
so anything
else I do to relax? I like sitting outside,
chilling.
Yeah,
playing badminton, sport.
I'd say that as a stress relief more than a relaxant. Right. I would say relaxant is badminton. Anything physical that sort of allows you to take some of that frustration away. So I used to play roller hockey and ice hockey, and I used to use ice hockey and roller hockey as a form of stress relief. Being able to take your frustrations out on in an inanimate object is really good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. How about you, Trev? That's a good one for
watch a
both
movie.
of us, really. Ah, right. Okay. What type of movies?
Usually action films.
Action films.
Yeah.
What type of action films?
Not sure I want to be too specific.
No, I don't want to throw him under the bus on that. But yeah, I'm aware. Action films. Would you say that Taken? With
that's a very good film.
It's a good film. Oh, John Wick. Have you seen any of the John Wick movies?
No, I haven't seen those.
Have you not seen? Yeah, they're a bit gruesome.
Yeah. Spy Kids, Spy Next Door, anything like that.
That's funny. It just went from Taken to Spy.
Yeah, and there's another one.
Oh, yeah, go on.
I forgot now. It's something about a spy. It's a little girl, and she persuades this chappie to teach her how to be a spy or something. It's just a bit of escapism type fun. And then the other thing I enjoy doing is DIY. So like Glyn, power tools, stuff like that. Great fun. Can be frustrating at times, but as a means of doing something completely different to my daytime job, I find that is quite therapeutic from that point of view.
I used to find video editing therapeutic.
Until lockdown. When you were doing it,
and now it's
a lot of the time.
Doing a lot of the time, and to deadlines, deadlines are great and they're fine, and it gives you something to work towards. It's the rate in which they're coming. It's fine. It's not a problem.
It's hard and fast at the moment, isn't it?
Yes.
So anyway,
should we have another one? Why not? Let's just. Okay. I'm going to cut there, and this is the question for. Oh, there's a parrot on this one. Oh, yeah, we'll use describe a word, this one, which is different.
Describe a word.
Describe a word. No. It's different to the type of question you had before.
Sorry. Go on.
It's all right. How would you describe hate?
How would you describe hate?
Yeah.
To dislike intensely.
Mm.
But I think it's more strong than that, isn't it? It's got like a feeling as well, hasn't it? So I dislike intensely apricots and gooseberries, because in my head a fruit that has a furry skin is just wrong. And sometimes we kind of use that about, let's take the food kind of example. I could say I really hate gooseberries, but it doesn't kind of do justice to the
level of disliking that you have towards
the meaning behind the word hate. So yes, when we use words, sometimes they can be quite powerful, can't they? We kind of say things without perhaps thinking about the meaning behind them. But yeah, so it's
look at that.
Hate. Feel intense dislike for.
Yes! Yeah. Like as from the book.
Oxford English Dictionary, if you are watching this, you need me.
He's been reading. That's what helps him go to sleep at night. He reads the dictionary. Obviously, he has reached H. But obviously, I can't argue with that now that now it's. But yeah, if you were to break it down, there's a word in Welsh, and we used to say in Welsh it would be do them in licio. I don't like. Okay.
Licio neu hoffi.
If I don't like something, do them in licio.
Yeah, so do them in hoffi.
Licio, hoffi.
Okay.
I don't like. Well, it's the same pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
But the word casau in Welsh is I detest, I hate, is there disdain? I disdain gooseberries. It doesn't quite work the same.
It's not, but it's the same kind of.
It's the same kind of thing, is it?
Words,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all you have a disliking towards a certain thing or person.
I show disdain towards.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Is there anything that you dislike, or you mentioned the level? There are things that we dislike. Okay. Now we could all say that there are people that we dislike.
Really? As a Christian, there are people that you dislike?
Why do I feel like I've just been thrown under the bus with that? I'll turn around and say there are people. Okay, all right. You've reeled me in. Okay, I'm going to cast myself back out again. There are people throughout history that I would have taken a disliking to for many moral, ethical reasons and spiritual reasons.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
does that necessarily mean I hate them and I shouldn't treat them with respect? Can you dislike someone and still treat them well?
Absolutely, I would say so.
I think that's biblical, is that we should, and we should even pray for our enemies.
Yeah.
You try to find another trapping. Are we supposed to love our neighbours?
Yes.
Yes, we are, and that's the difficulty.
Love your enemies.
Yes. So the difficulty is, from our position, is that we have to agree, or we have to understand that we are human, and we have to understand that we feel a particular way because we've been treated in a particular way, or we disagree with the way that someone has treated someone else, and that may make us dislike them because we feel we're a people, and we're a being that feels, but we are also challenged to try and move past that disliking.
Yep.
I think it's perfectly fine to hate what the person does, for instance.
Okay, so in Christian circles, there is the cliche of hate the sin, but love the sinner, so that you can you hate something that somebody does, but you should love the individual.
Okay, maybe that is that to put it in some terms. Yeah, that's cliche, and yes, it is pretty much what I'm saying. But if I can't simply dislike someone who's being unjust to someone, or prejudiced, or racist, or sexist. I can dislike the action, but what if it's something like slavery or something? I'm not trying to be self-righteous in this, but do we have a strong sense of, well, that's wrong, and should we hate the wrong rather than the person doing it?
Yeah, I think that's okay to do that. There is a fine line, though, or a difficult balance, I think, between showing your dislike for somebody's actions without it being understood that you are showing dislike towards that individual.
That fine line is, unfortunately, what people get caught up in offence.
Yes.
And if you... It's kind of weird because if you attack someone's actions, they naturally take it personally. Where in fact that's not the case. You might be doing it out of love.
Yep.
You might be pulling them to one side and saying, that was wrong. That was really wrong and I dislike that. Not about you, I dislike that action. To them, they may think, oh, well, they're actually saying that about me. They don't like me as a person, which actually is not the case.
I'm with you.
Why do I feel like I'm digging myself a hole? But anyway, if you would like to comment on that, disagree with me so much and feel like you would like to leave a comment, then leave a comment at the bottom of this video. If you agree or you disagree with, or whatever, if you'd like to start a conversation, then leave a comment in our thing in the comments below. Excellent. I've asked you a question. Hate.
All right, I can ask you another one. Okay.
You are.
I'm not doing that. We've just done something similar to that, so I'm not doing that one.
Okay.
I'm not even going to tell you what it was. All right.
Keep it a surprise, Trev. Keep it a surprise.
Got to find a nice one.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, I've asked you that one before. We need to sort some of these out because we keep coming up. Here's one.
Go on then.
Have you ever prayed?
Oh, what?
Well,
why would I ever do that?
The card that I just had before was, have you ever read the Bible?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've definitely had that one.
Yep. So have you ever prayed?
Have I ever prayed? Of course I've prayed. Okay. I remember when I was in primary school, I think it was in about year 3, right? Now this is where I remember distinctly praying on my own without being coerced. Okay. Without being told to, or, everybody put your hands together and we're going to pray, and okay. The thing is, I was sent out of class for being naughty. And I was outside in the corridor, and it was a really long corridor, And it's like, oh, please God. And I remember this like it was yesterday because I was bricking it, right? Please God, don't let the headmaster come down or round that corner.
Yeah. And what happened?
Well, God answered my prayer. He did it. Yeah, he didn't.
The
headmaster didn't come round the corner. But I was out there for a good 45 minutes, and so yes, I've prayed, but now, I may not have fully understood the value or the depth of prayer until I started praying properly. I say properly. That they like to say there's a proper way of doing it, but prayer. I started praying, I would say, as a Christian at the age of 15 and a half.
Okay.
The half is important. And prayer, the life of prayer that I've led or lived has fluctuated in the amount and the depth that I've prayed, but my understanding of what prayer is has changed dramatically and grown. And maybe that would be a good question for you, is how would you describe or how would you define prayer, Trevor? Because you're a minister, you've obviously prayed.
I obviously know all the answers, yeah. So prayer, what is prayer? For me, I think prayer is a means of communication between me and God. And that doesn't mean that it's a conversation like I would have with Glyn, who's sat opposite.
Could it be?
To me. It could be. But it's not often that you get a sense of God speaking directly to you or God speaking in an audible voice. It can happen, I'm sure. And you hear of and read of people who have had a very close encounter with God in that way. But for me, it's more about sharing my life with God, talking to him about different situations, and then allowing that space to listen to that kind of voice inside, that God somehow speaks into our hearts, into our minds, and guides us, I guess. And we can pray for all sorts of different things. We could have the kind of self-centered prayers of I need a brand new BMW 3 Series, which, by the way, God, you still haven't given me yet.
It's coming.
It's coming. Or I need a new house, a new car, a better job, more money, all of those kind of things. They're kind of self-focused. Now, there might be times when it is appropriate to pray for a new career or a new job. Glyn mentioned a little while ago about his career change, that he had been training to be a chef and then felt that God was guiding him, leading him into a different role. And I'm sure he would have prayed about that and what was right and appropriate course of action. But yeah, prayer, I think, is about a communication, and sometimes it can be a very simple God help me, and at other times it can be a bit more than that, an opportunity for us to just spend time actually trying to make ourselves open to what God says, because I think sometimes that's part of a problem. We've talked over the last few weeks about spirituality. And I think one of the spiritual aspects that we perhaps miss is making ourselves quiet and making that space to actually calm down and to listen. Most of us are quite good at talking and making lots of noise and distracting ourselves so that we don't actually make a space where we listen. And that's different to being lonely. Okay, so make that distinction. This is not, you've just told me that I've got to phone my friends and keep in touch with people because I don't want to be lonely. This is about a very definite decision to make a space where you perhaps are on your own
Yeah.
that you can actually then, okay, I'm willing to try and hear what God is saying to me in this situation, or I want to talk to God about a particular situation. So, and prayer can take many forms. For sometimes it would be perhaps being quiet. I give you permission, because I think it's appropriate, to shout and scream at God if you are unhappy. Don't do it in your bedroom when there are people in the house, because they might think that you've kind of lost the plot slightly. But if you're really angry and upset about something, go take a walk, go and find a quiet space and shout at God. Talk to God about it. Share that situation. And then make the space for God to come into that and invite him to perhaps deal with that and help you through that situation.
That's good.
Any other questions? I'm on a roll!
He's on a roll. No, I've got nothing else to add to that, because I think that was a thing that sort of covered all bases. If I had to add something, is that they don't have to be complicated prayers.
Absolutely.
The simpler words, the better. Not because God is dumb, but he wants your, as Trevor said, your full being, your full emotion to come out. Because you know, if you feel like shouting at God, shout at him. But also, you know, we hear all these really posh words being used, and you don't have to do that with God. Don't do that. If you can, go ahead, but you don't have to.
Omnipotent, omnipresent.
Case in point. Omni, Latin or Greek? Greek for all.
Yeah.
So, present, everywhere.
All present.
Yeah, all present. He's everywhere. All omnipotent is all powerful, and omniscient is all knowing. All knowing or everywhere.
Yeah. Omniscient.
Omnipotent, omniscient.
Yeah. There's loads of them.
No, there's only three. All knowing,
Yeah.
all powerful,
Yeah.
and everywhere.
Yeah.
Omnipresent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Omnipotent.
omnipotent is
Omniscient. And
omnipresent.
omnipresent. Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't quite roll.
I know,
off
it's
the
weird,
sound.
isn't it?
Anyway.
Potent, present, and
But you don't need to use big words. That's the.
see how we can get all confused.
It's right.
See how we can get confused. But anyway, right. I think we should do a challenge before Trevor brings his story. But we may have to drink up first.
I've drunk.
Oh, you're what?
I've drunk.
Oh,
I've drinked.
I've drank the drink. The problem being is it's not as fizzy as it was, but this is fizzy water. So if I burp, I'm sorry, guys. Right, do you want to explain the game?
So the game is, well, first of all, we are very aware in this time of COVID and pandemic that we need to be conscious of safety. So the first thing we're going to do is to put our safety glasses on.
Oh.
And then the challenge, I believe, is table tennis basketball. Is that the correct
kind of
description? So at this point, I'm going to keep talking. Glyn's going to demonstrate. So the target is the basketball holder that is now
I told you I was going to burp.
held by Glyn in his teeth. And
I can move to try and
catch it.
Catch it, I can move.
So without the ball bouncing on the table, we're going to go for a slam dunk.
A slam dunk? Hopefully not a slam dunk. That's
Not a
slam.
What's the
A
one
swish.
A swish. Oh, there you go. Right, so I reckon from about here. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh!
Right.
How many shots have I got? 3.
I'll just go for it.
Oh, second one.
I keep ruining it.
And last one. Are we ready?
Yeah. Oh, right, your turn.
Right, okay.
Oh, that was terrible. I'm sorry. That was awful.
Oh, go on, this one. Oh, and again.
That's got to be. Oh, it rolled right up your nose.
Oh.
Right, you'll have one more.
One more go. Right, here we go. Are you ready?
Right, go on then.
Yeah! So,
Boom.
all you need is a paper cup or a cup with a decent rim that you can grip in your teeth, and a table tennis ball or something.
A golf ball.
No, that is a bad idea. You know that don't try this at home that we said before. Don't try that at home.
As you can say, I'm the bad influence in this pairing.
But,
can I take these off now? Yes,
yeah,
I can.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Video yourselves, send it to us, and we'll try and include it in one of our videos.
Yeah.
So far, nobody has been brave enough to take up our challenge.
No, they haven't, have they?
In fact, so I think the person that challenged you to the Marmite challenge ought to take the challenge themselves. So you know who you are, the person who set Glyn the Marmite challenge.
And I know who you are.
So we will make sure that you get sight of this video, and we challenge you to use your family to have a go at the basketball challenge.
Yeah, you've got off easy in this case.
That is dead easy by comparison to what you did.
Oh, goodness me. Anyway.
If you haven't watched it, it was, what was it, week 2, week 3, somewhere around there?
Week 2.
Week 2 is embedded on his mind. Go back and watch it. It is
6 episodes
great
7
viewing.
episodes.
If you love Marmite, you would think, oh, well, that's not that hard. But
well, hang on. No.
Those of us who dislike Marmite.
I've spoken to a few Marmite lovers.
Oh, yeah.
And the irony is that they say, look, Marmite is lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's gorgeous. And they wind me up about it. And I said, have you ever eaten that amount in one in one sitting?
Yeah.
They'll always say, no, why would you do that?
So what you say?
Well, what you're saying is, it's nice in measurements. It's nice.
Even people who love Marmite
don't love
it
that much that they would stuff a dessert spoonful in their mouth in one go without toast or.
Okay, fair enough. So, again,
anyway,
don't try this.
Well, no. Supposedly, it's completely safe for you because it's edible. Anyway, over to you, Trev.
Okay, so I've got a question.
Have you?
Do you hate Marmite?
Oh, you took. Do I hate Marmite?
Yeah.
I will honestly turn round to you and say, before eating Marmite, this dessert spoonful, I would say I hated it.
But
and I would still say I hate it.
What you're going to say, right? I absolutely love it.
But if, for instance, I was challenged to do anything with Marmite again,
yeah,
with anything less, like I can remember back a couple of years ago, at youth camp, I had to. Being one of the leaders had a challenge every night. I was told that, okay, it's your turn tonight. I was called out of the crowd and I had to eat a snake that had been smothered in Marmite.
A snake?
Yeah, the gummy snakes.
Oh.
A gelatin.
I think that a real snake. I was like, whoa.
Nom 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 nom. Right. And yeah, I took one for the team and I won. Okay, so.
Excellent.
That was, but that's only a very small amount of Marmite that was on that thing, because believe it or not, it was nice and warm when they put it on, so it wasn't sort of. Yeah, I know. There wasn't as much Marmite, but I ate it. If someone handed me a piece of toast with Marmite on,
yeah, you could eat it.
I could eat it, and it wouldn't bother me anymore. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, it's toughened me up. It has. Chest hair and all that. Sorry. It's like it always put. It puts hairs on your chest. That doesn't it? Ooh.
That was just a bit weird. Anyway, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, it's
not even gonna ask.
Don't. Your turn. It's your time.
It's all about me.
It's all about him. It's all about Trev.
We should play that song, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Maybe that could be the outro song. Right, I'm going to leave it to you. Trev, take it away.
So, we said already, last few weeks we've thought about spirituality. And when we're doing that, a week or two ago, somebody typed into the channel to YouTube a question. And the question was, how or why did you become a Christian? And so Glyn and I chatted about that, and is that something that we could perhaps try and explain? So we did rock, paper, scissors, and I won't tell you if I won or lost, but it was decided that I would go first. So this is my story. It's my personal story, and if you have a story to share, then that will be your personal story. So I was raised in a family that went to church regularly, usually at least once on Sunday. So much so that if we were on holiday, we would kind of seek out a local church, and my parents would make an effort to take us to church nearly every Sunday. And so I grew up in that environment, not just going to church, but that my parents would try and then live that out at home in the way that they raised us as children and the way that they would treat others. And it was kind of, it was okay, and you kind of did the whole kind of Christian things of church and Sunday school. And then when I was just in that kind of transition from junior school, high school age, so around about 11 years old, I can remember being at a summer camp, and it was, I guess, the beginning of me understanding that there perhaps was more to this person called God than just something that we did as a family on Sunday. That actually maybe he was interested in me. So this is going to give my age away. So I was 11, and in 1973, during a camp, I remember thinking, okay, God, if you're real, then I want to give my life to you. I want to be a Christian, and so I want to follow you. There was no kind of immediate blinding flash of light or a fanfare of trumpets or any angels singing in the background. It was just something that kind of happened, and I'm not sure that it made a huge amount of difference to my life. And over the next few years, I kind of drifted along and continued with school and just life in general. And then when I was around about 16, still going to church, still doing the whole kind of youth church and meeting with other people who also went to church, but as a group of young people. And then I was cycling down the Little Orme. So Glyn mentioned the Great Orme over in Llandudno. I'd been over in Llandudno, and I was cycling back home. And if you know the area, if you know North Wales, you will know that as you come from Llandudno along the coast road towards Rhos-on-Sea, you get to the top of the hill where the Welcome to Llandudno sign is. And if you're going away from Llandudno down towards Rhos-on-Sea, Penrhyn Bay, there is a very long, steep hill. And I came hurtling down there towards the roundabout that is at the end of there. And I didn't quite make it round the roundabout, and ended up coming off my bicycle in a heap on the floor. And then the next thing I remember was that I woke up in hospital, having apparently fractured my skull and been in quite a bad way, quite badly injured. And so, because being in a group of people who were Christians, people phoned each other. People talked in the meetings and said, we need to pray for Trevor Casey because he's been really hurt, and we need to pray that God will make him better. So I didn't know any of that. I was in hospital for about a week, came home, was still quite unwell. Took me another couple of weeks before I recovered from that. But they did x-rays when I was first taken to hospital, and they were diagnosing that I'd fractured my skull, and that was a major problem. At the end of that week, they revisited the same x-rays, and the doctor basically said, well, there was definitely a fracture there. That's what we diagnosed, but it seems to have disappeared. So we don't know what's happened. It didn't particularly change me as a person. I believe that God was there with me, but again, it wasn't a huge dramatic thing that happened, but it was significant to me to think, well, okay, people cared enough about me to pray for me, and God cared about me to actually be with me throughout that situation. And I guess then over the next kind of year or two, so from 16 through 17, 18, I began to think, actually, there is something to this. And I revisited those thoughts that I'd had at age 11 of understanding that there is a God, and I will say that very clearly, there is a God. And I wanted to be a follower of God and to put my trust in Jesus Christ as the one that I wanted to model my life on. And so that happened over a period of time. It wasn't a specific date for some people, and that's fantastic for them, so I'm not taking away from that. For some people, they will say, well, I became a Christian on such and such a date, and I was at a meeting in this place, and so on and so forth. And that's fantastic. But that doesn't mean that that is any less valid or any more valid than my story. So for me, it was a gradual process that I came to know and understand about God and what he had done by sending his son, Jesus Christ, to die in my place so that I can have life and life in all its fullness, as it says in the Bible. Clearly, everything was wonderful from the age of 18, and I never had a problem ever again because I'm a Christian. And if you believe that,
you're wrong.
Yeah, sadly, that's not true. There have been lots of ups and downs during my life. And I think that is the reason I'm mentioning that is because I think it's a misconception sometimes that people have. Oh, well, God is kind of this sugar daddy who gives us whatever we want. The Bible says, ask anything in my name, so in the name of God, and it will be given to you. And I think people have misused that particular verse to try and force this whole idea of, oh, well, you shouldn't have any problems, you shouldn't have any illness in your life, everything should be just plain sailing. And in some ways, I'm glad that it hasn't been, because I believe that is part of a growing process as well, that is how God helps us and teaches us and guides us. When I was 18, 19, as part of this whole kind of process of wanting to be a follower of God, I felt at that time that maybe God was calling me to become a minister, and I explored that possibility. So at the age of 20, I went to a Bible college to have an interview there. It scared me, so I quickly ran away, and when I finished at college, I went and repaired office equipment for the next 20 plus years, which was very safe and very nice, and earned me enough money to be able to have a mortgage and to buy a house with my wife, and we have 2 wonderful children, and life kind of carried on. And then in sort of year 2000, 2001, somewhere around there, I just felt this kind of nudging from God, this nagging thing that I called you 20 years ago, and I'm still calling you. and you need to get up and follow me. And so I did. We were very fortunate at that time. My wife Mandy was able to change from being a full-time stroke part-time worker in that she ran our house and looked after our children, and also worked at a doctor's surgery. So she changed and became the full-time paid worker, as well as then helping to support me as I studied theology and studied how to become a minister. And here we are, 18 years later. And again, there have been many ups and downs. Just because I'm a minister doesn't mean, sadly, that I don't have any problems or that I have all the answers to life's difficult questions or anything else. It is, I think Glyn mentioned it before, life is a journey. And I believe that God has been on that journey with me, but sometimes he kind of lets me make my own choices. And it's only when I foul it up that I then go to him and say, actually, I need your help, God. But here we are. I'm still trusting him. I'm still relying on him to guide me and use me in whatever way that God sees fit.
Well, thank you, Trevor. It's always good to hear other people's stories. You always, and you never say, although your story never changes, the way you tell it always does. It's never the same twice, because you always pick out different things for different people, different times, because of what is currently relevant to you at that moment. And I'm kind of looking forward to sharing my own, because I have no idea what I'm going to say next week. Because but the thing is, when you're telling your story, it's often best not to prepare it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's organic, it's authentic, it's actually what comes to mind about who you are and what you've been through and what your journey has been. One particular scripture that Trevor actually stated was John 10:10, which was, the thief comes to steal, kill and destroy, but I've come that you will have life and life to its full. And you ended with life, unfortunately, is going to be challenging, and it's not always easy. And I think that falls under the fullness of life that Jesus talks about. He doesn't say that fullness of life doesn't mean it's all going to be happy full. It's actually, your life is going to be full of experience. You're going to have this fullness of life of experience. There's going to be ups and downs, tragedy, sadness, but exceedingly great joy, happiness, and all that, and all these different things. You're going to have the whole smelting pot of life. Yeah. But that fullness of life is also what God promises, and God promises he'll be with you throughout it all.
Good. Yep.
And he has been with you throughout your life, even though you ran away for a short time to repair office equipment, and he still pulled you back in and tell you, hang on.
And God does that. So... yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to hearing your story next week. Because I have no idea what you're going to say. But it's, I guess that, let's finish on that. It is your story.
Yes.
So Glenn and I have our own story. But for you, it might be completely different. The main thing is that you come to that point of saying, well, actually, I want to be a follower of God. I want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ and get into reading the Bible, into praying and meeting with other people, although that bit is a bit more difficult. Join us on things like this. Join us for our midweek reflections, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Have a look at the reflections to do with the Psalms that are up on our YouTube channel. And join us
the
for church.
SSCC YouTube channel, not the GYVOCY channel.
Okay, so do you want to just mention the different... so with Facebook, there's YouTube, there's web page. There's
it's not confusing. There's just quite a few of them. So we here at church, we here at Sussex Street, we're a church. This has its own channel. The GYVOCY has its own channel. Sussex Street as a church has its own channel. Just to keep things nice and separate. which in hindsight probably wasn't the best idea, but that's fine. Meh. We may combine them. It might make things kind of and kind of not. But anyway, it's something I'll work on if it comes to that. We do have Facebook pages as well, which is the Generate Youth page, the GYVOCY page, the SSCC page. You just search Generate Youth, and Vale Clwyd Youth, or Sussex Street Christian Centre RIL, or SSCC at SSCC RIL.
.info.
No. Oh. That's just Facebook. If you would like to visit our website, then it's www.christiancentre.info. If you would like to visit our Instagram account, which we do have.
Have we?
Yes, we've got an Instagram account. It's sussex.street.christian.centre.ril.
I'm very confused. Maybe what we'll do is
we'll put all the links
on the link, yeah,
in the description.
There you go.
And we hope you've enjoyed our conversation. We would love to start having conversations with you. If you would like to leave and stop and put comments in the thing, if you would like us to discuss the comment section, if you would like to ask us a question or would like a topic to be discussed, then anything's on the table. We would be quite open and happy to discuss anything that you throw at us. Brilliant. As challenging as that may be.
Absolutely.
As well as if you would like to challenge us, do something. I mean, someone challenged me to eat a dessert spoonful of Marmite. If you have a challenge that you'd like me to do, or Trevor to do, or both of us to do at the same time, then please let us know in the comments. I think that's time to end. My name's Glyn Watson, and this is
Trevor Casey, and goodbye.
And goodbye.